Josh Williams had some thoughts after he was eliminated from the NASCAR Cup Series race at Atlanta after he was involved in a huge wreck on lap 2 that involved around 15-20 cars. And he did not hold back his criticism of the NASCAR Cup Series as well as the track itself. Before we get to this, I'd like to ask you, please hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for notifications so you don't miss any of our future videos here at John Trent Racing. Before we get to what Josh Williams had to say, let's actually take a look at this wreck here that occurred right as they were coming across the start-finish line to finish the first lap and begin lap 2. This is courtesy of Fox NASCAR. Let's take a look here. Obviously, they're going green underway. Some really strong racing here right at the beginning. Kyle Larson giving Kyle Busch the push there on the inside, and Todd Gilliland pushing his teammate Michael McDowell there on the outside. A little bit of a 4-car breakaway, but obviously very racy in this first lap. We'll see Kyle Busch here dart to the outside to get in front of a hard-charging Michael McDowell and Todd Gilliland. And then McDowell dives to the inside to put the moves on Kyle Busch. We see Gilliland kind of drift up the track there a little bit. And we want to keep an eye there on Todd Gilliland because he will then kind of check up here. He gets a bump from Blaney, but everyone checks up. You see the chain reaction. Then Austin Dillon goes sliding down into the infield. I think that's Bubba Wallace there spinning out as well. And then all kinds of mayhem is breaking loose. Here is a better look at it right here. Again, keep your eyes on Todd Gilliland in that red number 38 car. He does kind of check up, and it's kind of bumper cars, chain reaction, and once you get to kind of Martin Truex there, who's the 6 car on the top side there, and Josh Berry right behind him. Those guys just don't really have the time to check up, and they get into each other, and that sends Austin Dillon around. Let's take a look. So you see him kind of check up right there. Blaney, Cindric, boom, 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 and then they hits Dillon. He goes around. Then everyone else is around. You see Noah Gragson is turned the wrong way on the track. Christopher Bell is into the front of him. I think that might be Josh Williams at the top there. But obviously, half a dozen or over a dozen cars involved. Here's another look at it. A little bit slow motion here. You can see Cindric gets into Blaney after Blaney, and then really that chain reaction. Barry and Truex didn't really have anywhere to go. Dillon goes around on the inside. We're seeing Bubba Wallace spins out, and then Gragson is turned around. We got Alex Bowman up there spinning around. So you saw a lot of guys basically get involved in that. And Williams would be the first guy out of the race. I think Christopher Bell would retire, as would Noah Gragson. I think a bunch of them got their cars out there. We saw Chase Elliott with tape up there. Alex Bowman got his car back out there. So a bunch of them were able to make some repairs to the damage that they had and get them back out there. But obviously, that was not the case for Josh Williams. And he expressed his frustrations after he exited the infield care center. This is courtesy of Friendship. Let's listen to what Josh Williams had to say.
I thought I left the ARCA series a long time ago, but apparently not. This is supposed to be cup racing, but man, it's just insane. I had like 5 guys pass me while we're still wrecking. It's like lap 1. So I don't know. It's just unfortunate. I don't know. I got some bad luck. I need to figure out how to get rid of this somehow.
So obviously pretty harsh criticism there comparing the Cup Series to the ARCA Series. If you're unfamiliar with the ARCA Series, it's pretty much like the D tier of NASCAR. You really kind of have a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds for the most part. Obviously, you do have some veterans that will come out and race some of the more premier races and kind of give that veteran style to it, and they're usually funding their own races. But a lot of times you have a bunch of young drivers racing for like Venturini Motorsports, or they're in the Gibbs car, and they're really just trying to make a name for themselves, and they're just out there pushing it to the limit. And a lot of times that limit shows up very quickly, and you're in the wall and you're wrecking, and there's all kinds of mayhem. So harsh criticisms there from Josh Williams to compare the Cup Series to the ARCA Series. But he wasn't done there. He also had some thoughts on the track itself. Let's take a listen.
No, you just wait till somebody runs into you, I guess.
With Daytona, Atlanta back-to-back, just how frustrating it is to get this start of the year, especially with how big of a year it is for you?
Yeah, I mean, it sucks, but I don't know, there's a race next weekend, so maybe we'll have better luck there.
When else will we see you in the Cup Series?
I'm not sure. I got a couple scheduled throughout the year, so hopefully it's not at a track like this. Hopefully it's somewhere where talents mean something.
So obviously, harsh criticism there for Atlanta, saying hopefully that he will be returned to the Cup Series, not at a track like Atlanta. Obviously, I think referring to probably the pack racing and saying that talent doesn't really matter when it comes to the pack racing. Probably referring to like you can just get caught up in it, someone else's mess, and can be lots of people caught up in it, as we just saw at Atlanta. We usually see at Daytona and Talladega as well, and you really don't have any control over that. Your talent as a driver doesn't really matter. You just hope that you're not involved in that massive wreck that usually does indeed happen, usually towards the later stages of the race, but this time, obviously, lap 2. So, but obviously, I think a little bit of sour grapes here from Josh Williams. And I think he's rightfully frustrated, though. Had a rough time in the Xfinity Series race yesterday, obviously out of the Cup race really early on. But I do think the racing has been pretty good. Like we said, we saw Kyle Busch and Kyle Larson really kind of trading places for that first place in the first stage, making runs from that second spot, diving underneath and really kind of being able to pass each other, something we didn't really see in the Xfinity Series and the Truck Series yesterday. So we've actually got to see some good racing. And then Michael McDowell, at the beginning of stage 2, was able to basically drive from middle of the field on the bottom, make some moves, brought Austin Cindric and Ryan Blaney along with him, and were able to drive to the front on that bottom lane and really kind of make it exciting. And we've seen these guys really kind of push their cars to the limit, and they're racing, right? They are indeed racing and putting on a pretty good show so far. The race has been pretty good, I have to admit. So I do think a little bit of sour grapes there from Josh Williams because he is out. Obviously taking some shots at the track, but I do think the track has been racy for these Cup Series drivers, much better than I think the truck race and the Xfinity race yesterday. But let me know what you guys make of Williams' comments here. Let me know in the comments below.